Welcome back to Scavenger Workshop. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to assemble the center leg. As you can see, per the written documentation, you're going to want to go ahead and countersink all the holes in the plates that need to have the holes countersunk on. Okay, so that being said, let's get started. All right, let's move a couple of these plates aside. What I'm going to do is take this first plate right here. It's countersunk for these M6 bolts. And it also has been countersunk for these little 1024. Alright? So we're going to flip it over. Now, I'm going to show you guys two options on doing the ankle bolts. One option is to actually countersink right here, drop your bolts in, and then put this plate on there so it holds the bolts together inside this little pocket, right? And then you can just get the Allen wrench in there. The other option is just to assemble the plates as usual and then try and get your bolts in for the ankle cylinders afterwards, right? So right now I'm going to do the latter version. So what you want to do is you're going to want to get this high heat JB Weld, and we're going to mix a good bit of that up right here. Gonna mix it up like so. It should be a nice gray color once it's all mixed up. Okay, what I like to do is I like to get a old paintbrush and just paint it on the plates, a thin layer like this. Try and avoid your holes as possible, because when you squeeze it together, it will get up in your holes and you'll have to kind of clean that out. So you don't need a whole lot. This is just to keep the plates from shifting ever, you know, when you're bouncing around, so that way you don't, inadvertently get a line after you've painted it and used the Bondo. So we got that plate in there. We're going to go ahead and drop this plate on. Right? Make sure they're as close to possible as being lined up. And then we're going to go ahead and paint these plates. Drop that plate on, and then this one. Drop that plate on, right? And then we're gonna want to get these bolts. But first, let's get some I guess if you don't want to use the red, if you don't want to use the red Loctite, you can put some of this stuff on it, and it'll prevent it, because you're never wanting to take these pieces apart again, you know, once it's assembled, you know, because if you did, it would split your paint, you know. So go ahead and screw these on. I don't know why it's not going on. Let me try and get it from the backside. I hope I didn't get the wrong size, then that's definitely going to screw us. No, that's the right size. It's just a matter of trying to get it on there. Alright, so kind of tighten it up a little bit, but not too much, because we still need to get the we're still going to need to align it up on the plates. And I've got them screwed on there. We're gonna need to drop, let's see here, these center plates on. So the way it's gonna work is, you see these two outer ones right here without the cuts? So it's gonna go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So let's go ahead and paint them and stack them like that. So paint it on there, stack it in place. Paint the glue on there. Stack it in place. You might not want to do what I did here and get glue in there, because when you drop the nuts in there, they might glue to the side and you won't be able to get them where they need to be, because they're going to have to be pretty much centered with this one here. Your nut's going to come, your bolt's going to come in from the side. So at this point, this is when you're going to want to drop in your M6 nuts. So go ahead and drop those M6 nuts in there, like that. And we're going to finish painting. Drop your plate on. Paint. And right here, this point right here is when we're going to go ahead and add these side pieces on right here. So keep an eye on where you have your orientations for your bolts, these bolts here, because that's going to be a deciding factor on which side this plate goes on, because this bolt's a little higher up, so it's going to go right here on this side. This one, let's see, here. And then this one's going to be here, the higher up. So let's set these aside so we know they're at. And then these, oh wait, yeah, this higher one goes over here, because it affects this one here. See where these line up? So this one's going to be on this side. And when you're putting it together, when you're drilling these out, you want to make sure you drill them opposites, so that way they fit where they need to fit. Okay, so you'll knock that one in, and then we're going to knock this one in. These are locking pieces. Might have to get the big boy hammer out. You want to try and not force them in there, because you don't want to bend it. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to use the metal hammer. Never hit this part right here, because if you bend these tabs, you're going to have trouble getting it to assemble back together. Okay, now that's there. So you're not needing to glue this piece, you do, but not on this outside here. So right about where this curve's going to be is where you're going to stop, right? So let's go ahead and add these pieces. I think I'm going to need more glue. Okay, put a little more glue in there. It's roughly going to use 1 tube of glue per part you work on, because there's a lot of gluing you need to do to get so the seams are all Loctite and whatnot. So, you know, just be generous. Just when it all squeezes together, wipe away any excess that comes out of the ends or whatever. All right, now that you've glued this part, the next step is for you to put this piece in here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab these bolts here. You're going to put some adhesive on them so that way they lock in there good. Either the Loctite or some of that gray adhesive, because you don't want these to ever come apart, right? So pop these in like this. All right, and then you want them to line up in this piece here. Once they're lined up, we're going to drop them into these little slots here, right? So the 2 little slots, pop, pop, pop. So we have them in there. Let's go ahead and tighten up these screws here. Well, we don't want these screws to fall out like they did. I think that's the wrong one. Let's see, where did I put the right one? This might be easier just to tighten these down. Before setting it in there. All right, let's see. Let's try this again. All right, now that they're in there, put our stack back on here. All right, so now we're back to where we're supposed to be. All right, so back to this. Pop this plate on here. I know these things slid out, they're going to slide a little bit, but once you got them in there, you can line them back up, right? Now we're going to finish painting this. I'm going to pop the top piece on. might have to you might have to beat on it just a little bit just to get it in lined up the way it needs to be. And hopefully it all goes together easily. So this is your final piece right here. You're going to want to paint that as well. But you only need to paint this part right here and this part right here. And then you're going to do the same thing to the other side, right? Take your paint this piece. Paint this piece. And then let's pop it in place. Uh-oh, did I put the wrong piece on? Oh no, I got it upside down. I'm an idiot. All right, and then we're gonna pop this one in place. All right, now that's how it should look on the inside. The outside, next, you can do all your little finishing screws like this. And finally, you can drop in your final screws. That's going to bring everything together tightly. Oops, one's on the side, same thing. All right, so pretty much that's how it's gonna look. Your side, you wanna clean all this little gump off. Right here, that's how the inside looks. And then this right here is just a guide plate for your bolts that pops on the top here. It'll be removable, so that way when it's flush against your frame, your bolts will go all the way through. Grab these couplers here and then pull it against your frame. That's your center leg right there. All right, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.